We are far from the shores of Earth, in the uncharted reaches of the cosmic ocean. Strewn like sea froth on the waves of space are innumerable faint tendrils of light, some of them containing hundreds of billions of suns. These are the galaxies, drifting.
Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are, whenever you are. Hello, thank you for watching my videos. It's Mike. It's January 16th, 2009. I'm still in Hong Kong. I'm still speaking quietly. Billions upon billions of stars. Apparently Carl Sagan never actually said billions and billions anywhere within the Cosmos series. However, he did make it a point to say billions, to differentiate it from the word millions, which everyone sort of knew. And then further along,
there's
says,
sometimes a rogue elliptical galaxy made of 1 trillion suns, which devours its neighbors. Perhaps this cyclone of stars is what astronomers on Earth call...
Okay, I can understand why you would associate me with Carl Sagan. He too has mad hair. I've included a link to the first episode of Cosmos. And somewhere around about 7 minutes, 20 seconds in, he actually says the infamous billions. Anyway, thank you very much for that praise. So I'm here in Hong Kong. I just finished the training session today. All of my students have gone back to their associated countries. And one of the visitors from Taiwan gave me a little happy Chinese New Year gift. Quite pretty. I'm not entirely sure what the significance of all of this is, but I'm sure it means something. And one of my other students gave me some Smarties. Well, don't really have Smarties in mainland China. What you have is a counterfeit Smartie. Yes, they even counterfeit Smarties in China. But on to serious news. And enough messing about. Bet you didn't notice this. While everyone's attention was diverted by a plane ditching itself in the Hudson River in New York, the United States Senate released the second half of the $700 billion bailout plan. So $350 billion were suddenly made available this morning, and 118 billion of them are going to be paid to Bank of America. A question over here was, what's actually being reported in the papers in China? Well, I took a look at the South China Morning Post today, and amongst other things, the leadership of the government here in Hong Kong are basically saying, okay, we promised we would get into, government reform this year, but it's not going to happen because we've got this big economic crisis we have to deal with. And their big thing is they're going to be need to sort out some things about unemployment. They expect unemployment to reach just over 4% here in Hong Kong. It's currently hovering around 3.7, 3.8%, which is pretty darn fantastic considering the size of this place. One of the other stories in the paper is quite interesting, but I'll get to that in a minute. In the Independent this morning, there's an article here from Andreas Whittam Smith, a commentary on the financial situation, and the headline is, "This is not the Great Depression." His big point is that when Roosevelt took office in 1933, 32 states had closed all their banks. Essentially, 32 states had taken a bank holiday. Now, and basically he's saying, well, it's not the same. It's not the same position here. Obama, none of this is going on before Obama takes office. He's missing a really big point. At the time of Roosevelt's inauguration in 1933, presidents were inaugurated around March 4th. So we still have time to get there, folks. Obama, in his lovely plans, may not save us from some of the things that are possibly out there. So basically he was saying unemployment was at 30% on March 4th, 1933. Well, according to shadowstats.com, real unemployment is just under 18% and is spiking high, very, very high, very, very quickly. It may not make it to 30% by the end of February, but it's going to get pretty darn close. IBM and Microsoft are expected to announce major layoffs worldwide, but primarily in North America, in response to the current economic situation. Expect the official monthly number of claimants to approach 750,000 in January. This may or may not be the official, but close enough, if you know what I mean. I mean, last month the official number was 540, but the previous, ADP was saying it was 650. So, who do you believe? And of course, the other point that he was making was that about the bank closures. Well, give them time. Now let me just scroll down my notes here. Sorry, I normally write this down, but I don't have any paper. Well, I do have one piece of paper, but I was saving that for something. So, I predict a riot. Where? Well, all over the place. But your guess is as good as mine where the next one's going to happen. Within Europe, we have been seeing continuing riots in Greece, with the Revolutionary Brigade, or whatever the hell they're called, admitting they were involved in the shooting of a policeman. Fortunately, the policeman has recovered now. His injuries were very critical, but he is no longer on critical support. He should be okay. However, in Riga, in Latvia, there was an economically related and anti-government riot earlier in the week. And there was also a riot in Bulgaria. The Riga one, if you go search for Riga, Latvia riot on YouTube, you can see some of the videos, and the police got very aggressive near the end of it. In the UK, last weekend, anti-war and pro-Palestine protesters were effectively attacked by the riot police, the UK riot police. And there's a story I've linked here from the Sunderland Post of one of the ladies that got caught up in this. So, basically, if you're going to go to these demonstrations or protests or whatever, more power to you, and really, you should be doing this, but please note, be careful, at the end of these protests, some of them will turn rather nasty. And if you do a Google for how to survive a riot, you'll find an article in Popular Mechanics, of all places, on how best to avoid getting caught up in a riot. Who knew? Okay, in the U.S. there was a new riot last night in Oakland. Again, they were protesting the shooting of Oscar Grant. Now, the UK press highlighted the fact that the protests last week, or earlier in the week, were the result of YouTube videos. The underlying story here being that the media are trying to portray people who distribute the truth via YouTube as inciting riots. So be careful. They're watching you. And there's a link there to the link from to the story from the Times of London. Now, there's also a couple of other links about these things. Now, China, getting back to the China bit, mainland China. There's a story, it's linked here. Wary Eye cast over 50 million bloggers in sensitive year. Basically, China is freaked out, Beijing. And they're saying here, mainland authorities have also recently shut sensitive domestic websites, as well as a couple other ones here, where many legal scholars aired their opinions. 2009 is a year with lots of sensitive anniversaries, and then the economic downturn on top of that is really affecting China. This year is the 60th anniversary of the formation of China, People's Republic of China. So they expect some difficulties. That's it. People think there's stuff going on, and don't get caught up on the headline stuff. Okay, I mean, it's important, and if it affects you and you are concerned, definitely protest, make videos, write to your senators, make your voice heard. But when you're doing it, be careful how you do it. And anyway, that's it. That's all I'm going to say about that. I appreciate everyone's comments, and I appreciate all my viewers. Thank you very much. And everyone have a good night. Or a good day in your case. I'm having a good night. Peace. Love. Understanding. Think about things. You have gray matter for a reason. Okay.